What's happening, tubes? One more day till Friday, thank fucking God. You know what I'm saying? Came home, cut my grass today. While I was at work, I had gotten a text message or whatever from someone saying that they had a stand-up deep freezer. It's kind of an oxymoron if you think about it. I mean, stand-up deep freezer. Well, you know, you would think that with deep it would be horizontal and not vertical, but I guess it doesn't matter because I mean, you know, it works. So when I got off, I came home, I cut grass. I had to go to that person's house and get it from them, and all was well. Got a picture of that I'll put in. That was a heavy rascal. I'm guessing because of the insulation is what makes it heavier, much heavier than a refrigerator, because refrigerators aren't as heavy as that damn deep freezer was. Yeah, I didn't cut my grass no ways as high as I normally do, or should I say as low as I normally do. I actually cut it up a little bit higher this time, only because that's what he said was recommended for the new grass seedlings, and to help get rid of some of this damn clover I got. I've got clover everywhere, and from my understanding, if you just barely graze the clover and just chop the tops off of them, it gives a chance for the grass to grow up around it and help smother out some of the clover. The other thing that I read into was it said that the yard is not fertilized properly. Like there's not enough fertility in the ground apparently, even though I did throw down that bag of lime. I honestly haven't seen any difference with that. I was kind of skeptical on it anyway, but I mean, you know, anything's worth a try once. But I got it and tried it, and it didn't do anything for me, or for the yard, should I say. At least that I can tell. As far as the squeaking noise is concerned, I think I've pinpointed it this time. I think. The guy who worked on my truck or whatever, who put the intake gasket and stuff on for me, me and him got to talking. He said he didn't know without having to look at it, which is okay, no big deal. But then I went and talked to the guy who does a lot of our alignments and stuff. And he asked me if the sway bar end links had ever been changed, and I said no. And about the time that we had got into the conversation, the guy who works on mine so happened to be working on a vehicle. It was like a 90, I want to say it was like a 97, 98. I don't know what year it is. But F-150, and the sway bar bushings had the end link bushings were gone. There was none. And when he made the noise or whatever, it sounded somewhat similar to mine. You know, I hate to go out and just grab something and throw a bunch of parts at it or whatever. But you get to that situation, it's like, okay, well, I kind of need it. It's kind of making a bunch of noise. I need the noise to stop. Is that a freaking slug? God, it's massive. This thing is huge. Let me show you guys. Just look at him. Look at that fucker right there. The wildlife, ladies and gentlemen, the wildlife. I did see a little snail that I picked up and moved so I wouldn't step on him. Let me show you guys him real fast. That's a big fat bastard right there. Good God. gonna focus? Is it gonna focus? Anyway, he's in there. He's just not wanting to come out. And of course, he can crawl down the table. It'll be all right. I'm sure that cabinet that the slug is on is probably well rotting on the bottom. It's a wooden cabinet, and it's on the ground in the dirt, which isn't a big deal. I got it for free just to get it out of somebody's way. I hate it when you get something in your mouth and you can't get it out. I mean, it's food, but especially if it gets stuck between your teeth. But yeah, that cabinet right there is going to go away from here eventually. I'm sure the termites have already infested the bottom of it. And that's fine. They can eat all they want to as long as it stays away from the house. The slug is on the move. Moving very slowly. I wish this little snail would come out, but I think he's scared. I think when I moved him, I scared him. Yeah, they're all little finicky creatures. And you know, the thing about it is that technically, if you've ever looked at a slug and you look at a snail, it looks damn near the same. It's just that slugs don't have a shell. Now, I mean, you know, they're totally two different creatures. More than likely in the same family. Ah. I don't know, I find stuff like that fascinating. Many people don't give a shit. They overlook the little things in life. And it's the smallest things like that, you know, intrigue my curiosity. And then you see you know, I look up to the sky all the time. I look on the ground all the time. I look at all the little creatures that are squirming around and moving all out of the, you know, place. And especially if you see a little frog in the grass when you're trying to cut the grass and you have to get off and move him out the way, or, you know, I try to avoid running over crickets. I mean, everything is in a food chain. And everything's in a balance of some kind. And without one, you can't have the other. So, that slug, although he's slimy and icky and gooey, he serves a purpose. It may be meaningless to many people, but it still serves a purpose. Just as a lot of other creatures do. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But, not really much of a subject tonight. I mean, as far as the truck is concerned, I'm just going to let it ride for now and just try not to pay the noise no mind. I'll end up getting, honestly, I want to rebuild the front end. I've already done the upper and lower control arms as far as, well, not the control arms, the upper and lower ball joints. But the lower control arm, well, actually the upper and lower control arms have bushings. But those look good. So I don't think that's that. It's whatever is making this particular noise, or noises, it sounds almost like as if, let's see if we can mimic the sound. Just bear with me for a moment. When you go down the road and you hit certain bumps, I mean, it obviously is not that loud, but This isn't working as good as I thought it would be. Maybe like that. But obviously, you know, just when you hit certain bumps or whatever. And that's the only thing that I came in mind with as far as the sway bar end links being bad or going bad or whatever. I got this weekend I'm going to take a good look under the front end as far as the suspension or whatever, and try to move some stuff around and wiggle around and see if I can actually directly pinpoint the issue. And from what I'm seeing, changing the sway bar end links isn't that hard. You know, I don't want to get into something that I can't fix here. You know, if I was at the shop or something like that where I work at, it'd be nothing to do because we got lifts and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? But here, you know, it's just got one jack and a couple of jack stands, and a bunch of dirt. So the toss-up right now is should I get gravel for this building to put in here, which means I have to take everything out of the building that's on the ground, get the gravel poured or dumped, smooth all the shit out, and then put everything back in. It'd be a weekend project. It wouldn't be no do it in a day's time. Which, I mean, if you had more than one person, yeah, you could. But being it would probably just be me doing the work, it's gonna take all weekend to do it. Or I told my old lady, I was like, you know, I really do. I went through my toolbox the other day and started moving some shit around or whatever, right? And I've had that toolbox now for, you know, that toolbox right there. I've had it for probably about 8 or 9 years, if not longer. And it's served its time. You know, it's time for it to move on to someone else. And you know, when I get a new one, I'm gonna put that up for sale. And of course, the top part of that's a Cobalt Craftsman. And you know, if you want, obviously, if whomever were to buy it would want all of it, the lock. What did I do with that one bar? I don't know if I still got it or not, but there was a bar that you put like on the side, or no, in the middle, and go straight down in front of the drawers. Then there's a little one that's supposed to go right here, and then you take the lid on that and you close it down, and then you put the key in and turn it or whatever, and it chooches. But anyway, needless to say, I don't think I've got but one key for it, and I think the only key I have is for the bottom one. So if you, let's say if someone were to buy it or whatever, they would end up, I wouldn't charge much for it. The box, as it sits, all the drawers work. I don't know, maybe $150, $200, something like that. The one I want is like $300. Well, I take that back. It's about the size of this here cabinet or whatever. Well, not really a cabinet, workbench. It's probably about the length of it and about the width. But it only has 9 drawers, 8 drawers, something like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I would be losing what, 4? I'd be losing 2 drawers, 3 drawers, something like that. But I mean, when you got something, drawers that are much wider and deeper, where those are narrow and shallow, it can be a big difference as far as how things go or whatever. I was just looking at an earthworm. I seen it come out of the dirt, and the hole that it's in is actually one of them little burrowing frogs that we have in here. I said, oh, there's all kinds of little wildlife and stuff in this building. The slug has disappeared. I don't know where the hell it's going to. But the snail is still sitting here and still has not moved. You know, I'd love to be able to have a camera that could be like, you know, that had the night vision on it and set it up in a corner and like kind of like, well, maybe just point it down at the ground like from the middle or something, so it would like broadcast out wide and just see what all goes on in here at nighttime when all the lights are out and it's real quiet. I bet you see all kinds of stuff scurrying around. Probably some things you wouldn't want to see. I have came in here one day, and matter of fact, I started up this lawnmower, right? And the lawnmower was sitting about where that wagon is sitting right there. And I got on it, started it up or whatever, and got ready to back up, and all of a sudden I see a snake fall and lands about where, let's see if you guys can see it. Can't get my finger right. Right there where that cabinet sits, right here with the doors open. The snake was on one of the rafters up in the ceiling and fell straight down. And then I tried to get to it to get it up out of here, but it scurried off somewhere and was never seen again. As far as I know, it may still be in here somewhere. I don't know. I won't know until we get to moving shit out, whatever day it so happens to be that the gravel does get dropped off, when that happens. But as far as the new toolbox, what I was telling my old lady was I could make a 5 foot long by 3 or 4 foot wide form. Put a little bit of sand in the bottom of it, and maybe a few pieces of rebar, and actually pour some concrete into that and have a slab for the toolbox to go on, you know, because that's where I'd have the toolbox at anyway. It'd be over there in that corner. But anyway, I mean, I'm just talking out of my ass now. I don't know. Everything is in the fucking air. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, much less what I'm doing right now, or much less what I'll be doing the next 5 years down the road. I mean, you can't never say what you're gonna do until it happens. You know what I mean? But anyways, I think I'm gonna finish this up and take my happy ass in the house. I know one thing is for sure. Apparently my SD card ran out of memory or whatever, and I don't even know how I got stuck on that. But anyway, as I was gonna say, I know one thing is for sure. I need to get more views, more likes than what I'm getting. And I don't know how to change that. However, it seems that 2, if not 3, of my biggest fans would be my mom, my old lady, and Team Low Life Brad. Garrick Hudson usually comments or likes some of my stuff or whatever, but you know, I think he's been busy or whatever. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do know that he's been getting a lot of stuff for his car or whatever. You know, he's into the whole, well, several people are into car audio, but he happens to be, you know, hardcore into it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Derek's a good guy. Brad's a good guy. But, you know, I'd love to be able to get to, like, seeing 50 likes, 50 views, whatever. Hell, even 5 comments on a video. I guess I've got to do some crazy off the wall shit. I mean, do I have to pull my wiener out and fling it around or whatever? No, it's not gonna happen. In all seriousness, though, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see more stuff happening with the channel and what's happening. And you know, I decided to do this. Like I said a while back in another video, I decided to do this not so much for the money, but just to have something to do. And you know, it's a good way to get my thoughts off of my mind. It makes me sleep easier. Not that I had a problem sleeping, but every little bit helps. But anyway, with that being said, you might as well subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think. And until tomorrow, hasta luego.